WBUR Podcasts, Boston.
I'm Daryl C. Murphy, and you're listening to The Comment. Hanna Ali, WBUR Associate Producer for Newsletters. Welcome back.
Daryl C. Murphy, host of The Comment. Thank you for having me.
Oh, snap. Right back at me. I like it. So, Hanna, how are you liking your summer? How's it going?
It's going pretty well. This is actually my last day before I leave for a vacation.
Where are you going?
I'm going to be going to 2 different locations in France. So, pretty excited. I'm going to be getting the city and I'm going to be getting the beach. I'm super excited.
And some wine and some food.
No wine for me, but definitely lots of food, tons of cheese. Yep, I'm one of the many people that gave into that European summer propaganda that was being spread over Instagram over the last year, and I'm headed right out.
I hear you. Hear you. Well, I guess this leads us into why you're here, because you're going on vacation.
I am.
It's the summertime.
It is.
You know, and while you're on vacation, you're probably going to read a book, right? Because it's, you know, summer is a time where you kind of slow down a little bit. You can either go on vacation, you can go sit in the park, you can go to the beach. And these are like great times and places to read a book. And Hanna, you are the co-author of the Beach Books newsletter for WBUR. And so my first question for you, what makes a beach book or a summer read?
Now, my definition of a summer read or a beach book, having written about 3 iterations of this newsletter on beach books that I've picked,
Check you out.
Hey, thanks to Christian Berno for writing the other ones. But I have sort of a loose definition. I really picture a day at the beach where you might be taking a nap, you might be going to get a snack. So I feel like a beach book is a book you can put down and pick back up and enjoy no matter what point in the day you're reading it without necessarily feeling like it's a little too heavy to fall asleep on. I don't think you really want to be reading like Karl Marx while you're on the beach.
Right.
You know,
some people should, though. Some people need to read some Karl Marx.
Some people could do with a little Karl Marx.
Yeah.
But you got to have something that's light, little bite-sized read that you can enjoy while you have your hot dog, you have your little slushie on the beach, all that.
I love that. I am 100% with you. You know, I love the books that have the short chapters because it feels like I'm reading a lot.
Yep.
But that's a perfect definition. I love that. So here's my next question. What do you love to read? What type of books fit this mold for you during the summer?
It transcends genres, really. But I feel like you said, books with short chapters, you get that a lot with like essay collections and anthologies.
Mm-hmm.
You're learning more. You're getting oftentimes a funny story. I feel like a lot of essay collections are funny. You can read that story. You can put it down. You can pick it back up. You'll say to yourself, you know, what is David Sedaris up to? Let me see what he's saying in this chapter. Or I'm not really feeling this story he's got right now. Let me skip forward and pick up on this one. You find something that fits your vibe. So I'm really team like biography or like essay anthology. But I feel like fiction can take you to a whole nother place. And that's really what we're trying to do when we're on vacation is travel, right?
Absolutely. Travel in the body, travel in the mind. Let's do it. I'm with you.
Yep.
Well, let's get into your list of recommendations. Where are we starting?
I feel like this one was maybe the best one I've read all summer, the most interesting one I've read all summer.
Summer just started. That's big.
Hey, I've been reading a lot of books for this newsletter.
It's still early in the summer now.
And my regular life. I'm reading for the people. I need to.
Yes, you have to.
My first pick is The Acrobat by Edward J. Delaney. It's a work of fiction based on the life of a certain acrobat. Do you know who the acrobat is?
Man, I don't know many acrobats.
It's actor Cary Grant.
Cary Grant, one of Hollywood's most famous leading men.
Yes.
He's an acrobat?
He was. He became an acrobat at the age of 14.
I did not know that.
Which is one of the many fun facts you learn in this story,
wow.
Which is a work of fiction based on his real life. So, we blend fact with fiction. We add a little bit of spice, the way that, like, Winning Time or Hulu's The Great, based on Catherine the Great, tend to.
Spice it up, because it could be a little boring reality.
You got to sometimes. I mean, there are some items that you're like, okay, maybe the authors had to have added that in. But some things are really real to life.
Give me one.
For example, did you know that Cary Grant regularly took psychedelics?
I did not.
He did.
Cary Grant is out here tripping?
He was.
He was on that acid, popping tabs?
He was regularly using LSD. And throughout the story, actually, as you're sort of following Grant through his experiences, he's going in and out of his own reality. And you get this sort of like intimate view at him. It's an omniscient narration that sort of like allows you to follow him. But you're not 100% sure everything he's telling you or everything he's experiencing is actually what's happening because he is under the influence.
I like this. It's fiction that has fun with nonfiction.
Exactly. Did you know that he had only 3 front teeth? He was missing a front tooth.
I didn't know that.
He was.
Now, wasn't Edward Delaney on NPR Weekend Edition to talk about this book?
Yes. Edward Delaney actually speaks about it a little bit.
When he was 13 years old, he had this bad fall on ice, and he knocked out one of his front teeth. And his father, who was a tailor's presser, could not afford to send him to a dentist. So he moved forward with his missing tooth. But as he went through puberty, the jaw grew out, the gap began to close, and he ends up with what is to some degree the perfect smile.
Some guys have all the luck. Hot damn.
Yeah.
So Cary Grant only had 3 front teeth, and he liked LSD. I'm in. I love it. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Did you kill Marlene Johnson?
I think you're one of the first people to have actually asked.
From WBUR and ZSP Media, this is Beyond All Repair, a new podcast about an unsolved murder that will leave you questioning everything.
Somebody should be in jail for murdering my sister.
A woman who's never been believed.
As long as they think I have done this, then they're not looking for who actually did this.
And that's what makes it a cold case.
No, it's a botched case.
And a search for the truth, once and for all.
Wow, it just gets more interesting.
Beyond All Repair. Listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts.
Be careful. You're digging in a place that's been very peaceful for a while.
Do it anyway. Dig.
And we're back. Okay, that's book number 1. What else you got?
So, going now to something a little bit more realistic, I've got an essay anthology called My First Popsicle. I picked it because it felt pretty summery just by the title. It includes passages from the editor, Zosia Mamet, from HBO's Girls. It includes passages from a bunch of her friends and other authors, like Gabby Sidibe, Ted Danson, Hamish Linklater, Sloane Crosley, David Sedaris, and a bunch of other authors. And I feel like, the concept of a food memory is really like, it's not necessarily something to think about, but then when someone tells you like, yeah, food memories, you remember that dish you had the day someone broke up with you, or you remember that thing you ate when you were a child and you can't seem to replicate it.
Mm-hmm.
They're very strong.
Yeah.
And everyone has them. So this is sort of a collection in which everyone's written about one. Some are painful, some are sweet, some are funny, some are frightening, some were learning experiences for the authors. But what really makes this story unique, or this collection of essays unique, is that almost every author includes a recipe for that food.
I like that. Kind of share that memory and share that connection.
Exactly. You get sort of a 2-for-1 if you get the book. You're reading it on the beach and then you're like, you know what? I might make this for dinner.
Mm-hmm. I like that. You know, I would write an essay about my late grandmother's, rest in peace, her chopped barbecue was delicious.
Ooh.
I think about it all the time. I'm like, damn, Grandma, you did that.
That sounds really good. And you know what? You probably have a memory from the times it was served. You've got memories of like, you know, probably asking for seconds and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what people are sort of sharing in this book. And I feel like it's so wonderful to sort of like hear these memories shared by each of these writers. Mm-hmm. So all kinds of food memories in this one book. And I feel like it's a really sweet collection.
Okay, so that's an essay anthology called My First Popsicle from Zosia Mamet. All right, that's book number 2. Hit me with number 3.
So this next recommendation, I realize now that I've done a lot of actor recommendations, but I am a person who used to work in television, so I really hope the audience cuts me some slack.
Okay.
But this next one is by Mass native Jenny Slate.
Jenny Slate. All right.
Her book, Little Weirds, comes to me naturally, just because all of the books that we recommend for the Beach Books newsletter have to have a New England tie. Jenny Slate herself is from Milton, Massachusetts, and a lot of the stories in the book talk about growing up in Milton, growing up in Massachusetts, but don't really tell, I guess, the tale of her life in a way that you might expect them to.
Mm-hmm.
She is a very deconstructionist writer and comedian. And so a lot of the comedy and the interest of the book comes from the fact that she writes it in this way, as if you were sort of just like listening to her think out loud, but her thinking is really something you need to hear. With her publishing this book and then putting it out there for the world, it really makes it clear that she's a person who doesn't necessarily like compromise any of herself for the public, which I think is so brave. And she talked about, you know, not trying to compromise any of herself for NPR.
Yeah, she was on All Things Considered.
I can still be really strong at comedy, but I don't really want to compromise on sweetness. Like, I just don't think it's for wimps. I actually think it's for the strong.
Yeah, be strong and sweet. That sounds really interesting. I mean, Jenny Slate sounds like a very interesting person. So I'll keep an eye out for this book. All right, Hannah, those were 3 very interesting recommendations from the newsletter, Beach Books, that you co-author with Christian Burno. Tell us, where can we find this newsletter?
You can find the newsletter through the month of August at wbur.org/beachbooks, all one word.
Yo, we in here having too much fun, Hannah. So, thank you so very much for coming through. It is always, always, always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me again, Daryl. I really appreciate it.
That's WBUR Associate Producer for Newsletters and co-author of the Beach Books newsletter, Hanna Ali. And that's our show for today. Thank you so much for listening to The Common. Now, you know I'm going to ask, what are you reading this summer? Let us know. Hit us up on Instagram at WBUR The Common, or send us an email at thecommon@wbur.org. I'm Daryl C. Murphy, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.